Hi, I'm Juhber, and welcome back to the NSG server. Today is going to be our last day on this world. I'm not leaving the NSG server, but we're resetting the world. We're having a new season. So I'm going to go around and look at all the things that I did in this season and just have a nice little world tour. As you can see, I'm ready for a long journey. I got rockets, ender pearls, more rockets. If I use all these rockets, my lights will have broken like 100 times. Anyway, here we are at the hub of my base, our sorting system input. I built this in the episode you can see on the screen now. We got all of our item silos, just bulk storage, not very much in there, but we got a lot of stone. It's full all the way up. These are all full of stone. This is just normal sorting, and then this is a special multi-item categorizer that I got from a few guys on YouTube. The video I did that in will have all that information. Another part of my item sorter is my shulker sorter. It's actually running right now. You can see that it might be broken, but I'm not too worried about that because end of the season. Anyway, it sorts all of the empty shulkers over here and all of the non-empty shulkers over here. And then if we decide that I'm dumb, if we decide that we want to empty the shulker, we can either put it in this chest or just throw it there and it'll unload everything and put it in the sorting system. Over here we have my crafting hub. Basically it has all the different tables I might need, a little bit of additional storage. It's got a map of my base area. You can see my squid farm and the big area that I mined out that's not going to turn into anything. We have our infinite water source down there, and this is supposed to have buckets in it, but it doesn't. This is my AFK block breaker. I use it to make concrete. It's actually water right there. I use it to fortune ores. I use it to strip logs. It's pretty useful. It doesn't always work perfectly. I don't know why it has quartz in there. Here is what I like to call the lobby. It's the planned first thing people see when they go into your base. I want it to be very large. That's a terrible explanation. I want it to be cool. I wanted people to kind of be awed. They go into my base and they're like, wow, look at this. And, it's up to you whether or not that's the reaction you have to it. And I made this in some episode. Who knows? It should be on the screen. This is my cactus farm that goes down 5 or 6 layers. It makes a lot of cactus. It's actually turned off. My cactus farm will also, when it overflows, will start producing bone meal. And it sounds like I have a serious villager infestation. Let's check that out. Oh yeah, that's actually not an infestation. That was, I did that. That was planned. That's how I do things. You can actually turn this on and off. There's a auto lava thing at the bottom that activates. It's turned on right now. And if I turned it off, you can see the lava. Perfect. And yeah, that's about it for my cactus farm. This is my villager torture center. Iron farm. God, there's a lot of minions. Minions? Villagers. This is pretty standard design. You have villagers, they get scared, they poop out an iron golem. It spawns in this giant crystal, and it wasn't that fast, but when you have it run all season, it can give you a decent amount of iron back, and only get that much bone meal. Honestly, they don't produce that much bone meal. It's nice just to have a use for all of the poppies that come out of it, and you don't have to store them then, which is giant pain. And that's about it for the internals of my base. I had a lot of plans for this. I played on the server for about 4 months. I had like a 1-year plan going. Obviously, we're not going to have time to do all that, but I'm still pretty happy with where I got. I brought all this down to bedrock. I was being a little secretive about it. I didn't want to like reveal too much, but my plan was to make this look like the inside of a giant geode. Maybe I'll revisit it someday, some point, a similar type base. Over here is our cow. One of these cows is named Glitch. Moo, Glitch. Get out the way. Here's our slime farm. It's very simple. This is actually also a slime chunk, but I was planning on doing a double chunk farm, but I never did. Over here we have our squid farm. Pretty standard design. I got this from a guy named Shulkercraft. I did it in some episodes you see on the screen here. And it's really loud. If we go here, we can see what the other side looks like. It's not pretty. I did it way too low. I had to contend with all of these pieces of bedrock down here. But it works pretty well and made way more... God, everything's so loud. I'm just gonna go. And it made way more squid ink than I could ever need. Making it wasn't that tough, but I had to fill in a bunch of river around here, which actually didn't take that long. And I used stone because I had a lot of stone, but not that much sand. I had a lot of stone because of that. You see, this way, we have our dye production area. And this honestly just started as I needed some leaves, so I kind of defaced an area, and then later, oh look, leaves. At a later date, I came back and I needed a skelly grinder, and there happened to be one right here, and I thought that was, you know, kind of cool, kind of serendipitous, so I used it to make my dye farms. There's no bone meal in there, so it doesn't work, but if there was, it would just be producing a bunch of flowers. Do I have a bed? I do. This is my skelly grinder. Is one of my earlier builds on the server. I don't think it looks that good, but it serves its purpose. And the world's simplest skelly grinder. All I did was sort out the non-stackable items and throw them in lava, because that's all your bows, your armor. I just wanted bones. There are none in here. The way it works is either I'm not AFK and I just kill skeletons as they fall, or if I am AFK, I just sit here and eventually there will be so many skeletons that they reach the cramming limit, which is like 23, 24, 500, whatever, I don't know, and they'll start dying. And that's not very fast, but you know what? When I'm asleep, I can AFK for hours, and it doesn't bother me one bit because I'm not doing anything. A very high-tech exit from this. You just gotta rip, and we're free. Oh, due to the placement of my squid farm, didn't think about this, shouldn't have done it. I had to move my portal over here. The main reason for that wasn't, I mean, half placement on my squid farm, but half of it is that we decided to do all of our stuff on the bedrock ceiling, all of our portals, which is very convenient in some instances, but it's very inconvenient in other instances because it's hard to get your portal alignment correct without interfering with somebody else's portal, because there's some people close by to my base. This is my original portal placement, a little bit more decorated, and yeah, I had to move it because I ended up in the nether down where my squid farm is every time. It's a 3x3 hole I did through bedrock, and then we're going to very, very briefly look at down here is where I did all of my netherite farming, and I used beds, which, you know, people hate, but guess what? Beds are really cheap, and if you're okay with dealing with fire, people say they're slower. You know what, next season, maybe I'll do like a test and I'll show that they're really not slow. They're only slower if you feel the need to break each and every single bit of fire. And you don't need to, but I digress. This is the terrible place where I farmed or where I mined for netherite, and that's the Squid Farm. And this is how you get just a seizure. Now, I didn't build this hub, but I did build these dead trees as part of the hub. There needed to be more, and I was eventually going to build more, but found out the season is ending. I had other projects I was working on. Decided, you know, maybe I won't build them. And now we're off to the shopping district. Which is the main place that I would build other things. We got, from whatever episode I built it in, my Leafy Sheep, which was one of my favorite builds I did, one of the earlier builds I did. I was really trying to, you know, show that I could play with that I belonged on the server. I wanted to build something as cool as I could, and this is based on a children's toy that I saw, but that's not important. It's just a giant sheep covered in leaf. Hence the Leafy Sheep. Not a very creative name, but what are you going to do? It's a sign. That's another sign. I had a lot of fun learning how to do like Minecraft lettering. It was pretty cool. Sold a couple things in here. Not as much as I would have liked, but it did yield me some diamonds. Took me forever to make these item frames. And then one cool thing that me and Zog did is we're making a secret entrance. Let's see if I can... There we go. We're making a secret entrance that we never actually utilized. It goes to nowhere. Eventually, maybe it would have gone to like a lair of some sort. Who knows what we would have done with that. But it was fun. Just making the entrance. Oh, now it's closed. Up here, we have the little tavern area. I was decorating it with heads. I never actually did anything with this, but my plan was I'm just going to put these item frames with diamonds, and if somebody came and placed a head that wasn't already up here, they would get to take the diamond. We never actually did that, but you know what? I like the diamonds as decoration anyway. It's like when you pin, you know, like, oh, my first dollar, you pin it to a wall. Up here, we have my office. Just, you know, some things. I actually took some of the decorations from here and brought them to my new office, which is in my bank, which is, you know, we'll look at that later. This is actually my first wooden pick made on the server, my first stone pick, my first iron, and my first diamond pick. Breaky the first. This is Breaky the second. It eventually got upgraded to netherite, and I suppose I could put it there, but I'm actually going to put it... At the end of this, I'm going to take all my gear off and forever leave the server. Plant a jungle at every member space. So that was a NSG Challenges by Gunnar Winner. And we'll actually go look at the NSG Challenges area in a minute. But that was a lot of fun, and I'm glad I did that. There's actually, little known, there's like a secret back way here where I kept extra stock, just some storage. This is full of obsidian. We had a lot of obsidian. Me and Safe, mostly Safe, mined it out from the end. This comes out right here. And it's gonna make me sad. I was really proud of this build, but I think this is so long to the Leafy Sheep. Bye-bye, Leafy Sheep. The next shop that I built was a shop to die for. This is an unofficial title. It never actually has a sign. It's basically just a shop with all dies in it, but I decided to make it a haunted house, and my little headcanon was that all the colors are inside, so the outside had to be monochrome. I had a lot of fun doing this. I had never really done any like haunted house. I had to figure out how to do the kind of the spooky landscaping. I made like a little forest framing the haunted house. Inside is pretty simple. I did like a boring, purposefully boring like monochrome area, and then the colorful area is just an explosion of each color with the requisite dye shulker box in the requisite color. It's actually kind of hard to find. This is a little inspired by a screenshot I saw from a Mumbo Jumbo base. I didn't actually watch the season that he did this in, but I thought it was cool, just a collage of all the blocks of that color, and yeah, that's what I went for. Now, the next thing, I did some more things in the shopping district, but we're gonna take a quick respite, because earlier I mentioned Gunnar winners, NSG challenges, and this is something I actually haven't shown on camera, so nobody knows about it except for the person that helped me do it. So we're gonna fly to Gunnar winner's base real fast. Here's Gunnar winner's base. He didn't actually play on the server very long, which is too bad because he had some cool stuff going on, but we're not really here to look at his base. We're here to look at one thing in particular. First thing is this. He said, plant a jungle tree at every member's base. This is the jungle tree that I planted here. And he challenged me, and he challenged me in this incredibly hidden secret lair. And I had an idea, and this all happened, like, he ended up leaving the server, so it never came to fruition, but I thought it would be funny if the next time he challenged me, if I like pulled a reverse challenge and I was like, oh, you challenged me, I'm going to challenge you. And then I had this mirrored challenge area that was completely identical to the other side that he didn't know about, and I don't think he could have seen from over here. Like, it's really hard to see if you know it's there, but if you don't know it's there, like, you can only see it if you sit here, and even then it just looks like stone. So yeah, my plan was we're gonna come down here, he was gonna challenge me again, and then I was gonna like double back challenge him. Like, built this secret area. Oh well, never got used, but it was a fun thing anyway. I did this with Zog as well. Also, whenever I left the first time after we made that, Creeper showed up and blew up this whole thing, and we had to recreate it from footage to try to get it exactly the same way so he would notice anything happened, but then he never got back on the server, so... And back to the shopping district so we can look at a few of my final builds, and honestly some of the ones I'm most proud of on the NSG server. Now, in the background of this, you're going to see my bank, which is the final build I wanted to show in my world tour, but we're not going to talk about it yet. I know it's there, it's very obvious, but first I want to talk about my parkour area. We have a gaming district. It wasn't very utilized. Maybe we'll do better next season. But I wanted to build something here, and I had been watching a lot of parkour, and this isn't terribly hard, and you can actually watch me run it in whatever episode I did this in. It was a lot of fun. It actually took me a while to do it, even though I designed it, which was silly. I'm not gonna run it right now. I just wanted to talk about it. It's basically a water bucket. It's kind of parkour, kind of puzzle, because if you have never seen anybody do it, you know, it might not be completely obvious. Well, I think it's obvious, but it might not be obvious what you're supposed to do yet. And the very last thing, this is Scroofy's house. I would be remiss if I didn't show the absolute majesty that Scroofy's upside down house is. He built this, I think it took him like several minutes to do, and just the server's a better place for it. It's got a jungle tree on it that really kind of ruins the look, but ladies and gentlemen, Scroofy. The last thing I wanted to show everybody was my bank, and this took me a long time to design, a long time to collect all the resources, and a really long time to build in survival. I didn't design it in survival, I designed it in creative. I'm not trying to keep that secret, but I did build it in survival, like this iteration of it, and that took a long time, especially because these are upside down stairs, which kind of sucks to place a bunch of those. And this is here, we'll do a once around the bank, we'll just fly around it, look at the sides, look at the back. So I did a lot of the interior, but I kind of ran out of time, so I do have some of the interior that's just basically a facade. And honestly, I don't feel bad about that because it looks way better. You know, I wouldn't have had a chance to finish it, but whenever you fly by or you just look in, it looks complete. And I think it looks way better than it would have if I just left that blank looking at the, empty inside. So we go inside. This is the lobby of the bank. We got a little garden area. We have some doors that open to absolutely nowhere. Eventually, one of these sides would have been a vault, and the other side probably would have been some sort of like giant conference room. Really cool. I just ran out of time, but I'm really happy how this giant lobby area ended up. Got some chandeliers, some random wall decorations. I made a little security security system. It's not very complex, but basically here's your your teller window. There's a little area to pass through money, or then you switch this very convenient to push push, this very convenient to flip lever, and then you're completely safe. Nothing can get to you. Nobody has elytra. They can't fly over. You're safe. And then you just run away to here where you're completely locked in and there's nowhere to go. Perfect. The last area is the executive suite of the bank. We go up here. We have some decorative walls. We got some fancy bookshelves because the knowledge is power and all that. And you know that banks are full of knowledge and power and money and all that. This is a little area. Eventually, there was supposed to be a big staircase here leading down. This is another one of those instances of I ran out of time, so I decorated as best as I could. Here's actually some of my tools. Diggy the First. This is actually the first diamond shovel I made and enchanted and eventually upgraded. These are from the never released Juhber versus the Bastion episode where I went and defeated a Bastion. The reason it was never released is because I forgot to turn on my microphone, so there was no audio, and yeah, that sucked. Choppy the First. This is my first axe I made. Lucky the First. This was my first fortune pickaxe. I did not upgrade it to netherite. Blocky the First, shield, never used it, did make it, it's got unbreaking on it. Lucky Diggy the First, super clever naming conventions. This was my fortune shovel, if you could not gather that. Here is me just flexing. Basically the season ended, so I took all of my wealth and I made some netherite armor sets, I made some diamond armor sets, and these are all my remaining diamond blocks. Here's just my wealth that I had left. We got my netherite hoe, Scrapey the First. I really was, well, scraping the bottom of the barrel. I couldn't figure out, like, what does a hoe do? I guess it scrapes the ground. There's my only beacon I got this season. Should I have gotten more? Maybe, but it's not that hard just to break your beacon and move around. I had lots of iron pyramids lying around. But yeah, this is my new office. My plan was to move into this, you know, just be super fancy. Got a bed so I can sleep at the office occasionally. I was gonna hide a bunch of random crafting tables and like storage and such. Here's my wall of fame. 2 gooners and a scroofy. That's pretty good. But yeah. I mean, that's everything I did on NSG. 4 months, it seems like a lot to do in 4 months, but at the same time, it seems like I didn't do that much. But I'm looking forward to the next season. I got big plans for my base already. I'm going to try to do way more than I did last season. I'm going to try to upload a little bit more frequently. I still want to do my big project videos, but I'm going to try to make smaller videos with me just messing around or working on smaller projects like in between, so I can maybe get something out once every week or every 10 days rather than going like 14 days to a month between videos like I did this past time. And yeah, I guess there's only one thing left to do, and that's we gotta put up all of our gear, and then we gotta leave the server. Man, it's got a feeling of finality. See if I can get all my most commonly used items on there. Where are my arrows? This way, if I ever come back here, you know, I'll be ready to go. I just gotta grab my stuff. I mean, I don't foresee that I'll ever come back here, but you never know. And now we have to figure out how to get off this server and onto the new one. I have no idea how to do that. Let me just... Yep, well... And yeah, that's it. That's the end of NSG season whatever for me. I mean, it's my first season, so we'll just say that's the end of the NSG season. And I hope you guys enjoyed all my videos, and I hope you enjoyed the world tour, and I look forward to making more next season. And yeah, I think that's all we got time for. Ta-ta for now. See ya. I don't know why I did that.